Hello world, Bassist Lamson here with you once again to share a quick bass tutorial with you. Before we get started, just a couple things. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, as the YouTubers say, or subbed or subbies or whatever that means to subscribe. Don't forget I'm tuned down 1/2 step, so don't forget that. And the beauty of what I'm going to share with you today not only works for bass lines, but pretty much works for most things Western. I don't mean like New Mexico or the West Coast. I mean as in Western Europe, Bach and violins and things like that. So, with that being said, let's get started. Alright, so let's get this moving. Okay, so one of the things that separates the great players from just the average players is that the greats understand that certain notes within a bass line should get more emphasis than others. Some are just more important. Okay? And for that, we're not going to play a piece by Bach, even though I mentioned Europe earlier. We're going to play Get This Party Started by Pink. Yep, that's the song we are going to use. Okay, so before we go any further, I'll play that bass line for you. It goes a little something like this. Okay, so what we're going to, and so for this, we're just going to use the first half of that bass line. We're just going to use this part. Just that, okay? Alright, so now on the screen, you will see the sheet music to just that part of the bass line, and you will see two notes highlighted, the first note and the last note. The first note is on beat 1, and the last note is on beat 1 of the following measure. So within that pattern, the two notes that fall on the beat are the ones that will get more emphasis, okay? Which is perfect because this is pop, and when it comes to that style of music, the first note of the measure, the first beat of the measure is typically the most important. So what you're telling me, Bassist Lamson, is that within a bass line, certain notes should get more emphasis, and those are the ones that fall on the beat. But depending on the style of music, those beats, there is probably going to be a beat or two that is more important than others. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In pop music and in rap, it's typically beat 1. Jazz, blues, other swung styles of music, it's typically going to be beats 2 and 4. You know, when it comes to rock, it's 2 and 4. Although now you could argue it's beat 1 depending on what it is, because there's so many songs out there that have fused rock in hip hop and rap, you know, all that. So you can make an argument that for those songs, maybe beat 1 is where you want to look. Anyway, so with that being said, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play that snippet of the bass line for you, and I'm going to phrase it properly. As in that first and last note, the ones that fall on the beat, I'm going to give them more emphasis. Remember, it's slight, and it's very, it's just a little bit more volume, all right? So listen closely. Here we go. It's in there, okay? Yep, it's there. All right. So now what I'm going to do, and this is going to be really hard, is I'm going to play this improperly. I'm going to put the accents on those notes that don't fall on the beat, and it's going to sound okay, but it's not going to sit down. It's not going to want to groove. It's just going to sound a little off. Let's see if I can do this. Here we go. Here it's just not. It doesn't sound bad. It's just kind of something's not quite right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to play it properly. Dun, 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 All right, let's add some drums to it. Let's add some drums. Just going to go onto YouTube here and just find some random funk backing track. It's about 120 or so beats per minute. Let's play and let's see what happens. Yeah. So now I'll play the bass line with this, and I'll play it the right way. So the notes that fall on the beat will get more emphasis. 1, 2, 3. Do it again. Yep. And now I'll play the whole bass line. pour some in a cup and add some water and stir. Okay, so once we put it all together, we had the drum, the backing track, and then I started to play the bass line, and I played it the right way, meaning that the notes that fell on the beat got a little bit more emphasis. It began to groove, and it began to sit down within the pocket, which is what we all want, right? So that's going to wrap this up. So in closing, if you're playing and something just doesn't seem quite right, but you're playing the right notes and the rhythm is right, check to see if you're putting emphasis on the beat. And like I said, this works for other instruments as well. So if you know somebody, or if somebody, let's say like the guitar player in your band is playing and something just, you know, it doesn't sound wrong, but it's missing something, go back and check and see if they are putting emphasis on the beat. They very well might not be. I have found that this is a very common problem. So yeah. But with all that being said, if you have any questions, leave it in the comments and I'll do what I can to get to it. Take care. TTYL. Have a good one. Peace out.